11 tips from a founder that does $2 million in annual recurring revenue with 24 projects. These are lessons from a very successful founder named John Rush. He has some super valuable insights here, and I want to go through these 11 tips. I'll also leave a link in the description below for the original article. Tip number 1 is to validate your ideas before launching them. For John, this is the mistake that most new founders make, and they fall into the trap where they start building something they think is good, and then they spend months working on it, and by the time they bring it to market, it just doesn't work. And from there, the only way to pivot is to change the product, and that can take a long amount of time. It's so much easier to validate the idea from the beginning, see whether it works, and then build something with legs and something that people actually want. That's the classic Y Combinator advice, is build something people want. So it's important to make sure you're discovering that before actually diving into the code. The second tip John has is how to come up with good ideas. And for him, he starts with creating something that can reduce his workload. As if you're able to automate something for yourself, you'll often find that other people will want to use it as well. For validating ideas, John has 6 ways to do so in the B2B niche. The first one is through social media. So either you post it to your audience or you post it on a platform where the content can spread beyond your audience if it's interesting, like Twitter or TikTok. And then all you need to do is track the ratio between views and signups to get a good idea of validation from social media platforms. In conjunction with that, you'll also need a waitlist. It's going to be a very simple 1-page waitlist with your value proposition, your name, and an email field. This is going to allow you to track how many people sign up. You can also do validation through a blog, whether you're writing something interesting and posting it on Indie Hackers, Hacker News, Reddit, or Hacker Noon. And at the end of this blog, mention that you're looking for feedback on the new idea you're working on. And people usually want to help others, and all you need to do is ask. And that's a very easy way to get distribution on the idea. You can also just pay for ads, whether that's Google or Meta ads. The 5th way is through influencers. You can pay them to boost your stuff for a couple $100s. Then you'll be able to see how your idea does in front of a larger audience. Lastly, find people who seem to fit your target audience, DM them with your idea, and see how they react. If they want it, then you'll probably be on the right track. So to summarize, those 6 ways to validate an idea are social media, having a waitlist, blogging about it, running ads, hiring influencers, or cold DMing people directly. From there, you might be asking if cold outreach is effective. And according to John, it is, but most people aren't doing it right. And the key point is to put a bit of effort into it. Don't just spend 10 minutes on a mass DM and think you're going to be landing deal after deal. You have to constantly iterate on your message to see what works best. Cold outreach has been the best way to reach customers if you aren't rich for basically all of capitalism. It doesn't require anything to go and send these messages, and you can contact some really influential and big customers. If you've gotten this far in the video, I'm sure you want to build your own micro SaaS. And I have you covered with a complete step-by-step academy that's going to show you how to build, launch, and profit from your very own micro SaaS product, even if you don't have any product ideas, funding, or SaaS experience. The academy includes 8+ hours of video and $500 plus of free bonuses. And it's all taught by me, so make sure you check that out. There's a link in the description below that's going to send you directly to this landing page here. Or if you're just looking for some free micro SaaS ideas, I also have you covered. All you have to do is enter in your email, and there's a link for this in the description below as well. In terms of tips for boosting the SEO or search engine optimization, according to John, most founders make a very simple mistake. They also do things such as having their main title on the hero section, and it has nothing to do with potential queries. Instead, they'll have something like welcome to my tool, but nobody ever searches for welcome to my tool. John also sees a lot of founders, especially those using no-code tools, suffer from slow page speeds. Your landing page speed is really important, and to note, you don't need to obsess over making your website the fastest website in the world, but it should load in around 1 second. Finally, you have to focus on getting backlinks, as 80% of the people that John sees failing at SEO have no backlinks to their sites. Blog articles by themselves won't cut it. No backlinks no SEO. In terms of getting backlinks, John recommends going to directories and listing your tool there. Let's talk about growing on social media next. When John first started, he was convinced that social media was a game of tricks. He thought you had to do collaborations with influencers or run giveaways or anything along those lines. But then he realized those things are easy to do, and even if you gain followers doing that, they won't be the kind of followers who will buy from you. What actually works for him is keeping things very real and simple. Everyone tries to act like a celebrity or an expert, but that's not the best way to do things. The best way to stand out on social media is to just be yourself, because from there you can actually figure out the kind of content from your life that is resonating with people. When you try to be someone you aren't, it becomes really hard to repeatedly come up with good content. Social media really is a long game type of platform where you're building up your audience and engaging with your followers, so coming up with good, consistent content is necessary. In terms of dealing with failure, for John, it's really important to have people close to you. It can be your wife, children, mother, father, best friend, or whoever else, but having somebody is extremely important. For John's time management, he actually recommends being lazy. People think they're lazy, but they aren't. As an example, for grocery shopping, why would you go to the store instead of using an app? In terms of how indie hacking is going to change in the next 5 years, John thinks it's going to turn into something where it's not even called indie hacking anymore. It's just going to be called startups. In his opinion, he thinks that 99% of those startups are going to start without any seed or pre-seed money. They're then going to go on to validate their idea, get some sales, and then go to venture capitalists, rather than raising before starting. So basically, he thinks that VCs will be pushed into the later stages of a company and disappear entirely from those early stages. In terms of how founders can stand out, according to John, it's already difficult today. As if you look at all the newcomers today struggling to get attention, he thinks that's only going to get worse in the future as regular B2B SaaS products have become crowded, that only the established founders can make their economics work. So he thinks that most are going to be forced to go into other verticals like agro healthcare, bioschooling, and teaching, as you have to look for fields where there's a lot of potential, but where there is nothing currently happening. As for his parting advice, wire your brain to enjoy the process and not the outcome. And that concludes the 11 tips from John Rush. The original article was written by Stefan Flanders, and I'll leave a link for it in the description below. This concludes the video here. If you enjoyed it, I would love it so much if you smash that like and subscribe button below. Also, make sure you check out the Build a Micro SaaS Academy. It has 8+ hours of video and $500 plus of free bonus content. There's a link in the description below so you can learn how to build, launch, and profit from your very own micro SaaS. I also have tons of other videos on the channel just like this, so if you want more SaaS stories and advice, make sure you check it out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.